the label for me became when the record execs wouldn't hire any women producers or DJs or remixers. I created the label because I'm like, if nobody's gonna have me, I'll do it myself, just like I do everything else.
Yep.
So
What's up, y'all? I'm Kelly Clarkson.
Hey, it's Steve McRae.
Hey, I'm Josh from the band Need to Breathe.
I'm Olivia Luddy.
We are so excited to welcome to the Kelly Alexander Show, Akon. Hi.
What up, Kels?
Hey, I'm Judy Gold.
And I'm hanging out with the Kelly Alexander Show.
This is Jordan, and I'm hanging out on the Kelly Alexander Show.
I'm Rob, and I'm hanging out on the Kelly Alexander Show.
I'm hanging out with the Kelly Alexander Show right now.
Jealous?
We are super excited to welcome back to the Kelly Alexander Show a Grammy Award-winning producer, DJ, remixer, owner of a record label. The list goes on and on. DJ Tracy Young, thank you so much for coming back to the show. We're so excited to have you back on the program.
thank you, Kelly, for having me again.
Yeah, well, I when we had you on several months back, it was with Nikki Harris and Donna DeLory, and we had this like Madonna family reunion, which was super cool. And I really enjoyed our chat, but we didn't have a lot of time to talk about your career specifically. So that's why I wanted to have you back on the show. So I have to take you all the way back. How did you get your start in music? Like, how did you start spinning?
Oh, goodness. That seems like centuries ago now at this point. I guess the way I started was just simply being a music lover, like any of us, you know, when we get into this crazy world of music. But the actual craft of DJing, I snuck into a nightclub and I heard records being mixed into one continuous song. And I was just like, what is going on? How on earth are they doing this? And anyway, I ended up going to college, and I saw a guy friend of mine. We kind of dated for a minute, but he was a DJ. So I actually saw the Technique 1200s and them mixing the records, and I was like, oh, that's how they do it. Anyway, so I mean, it's probably a much longer story than that, but that's the short version of it, Kelly.
And what music did speak to you the most? Was it house music right away, or were you into hip hop first or pop music?
Well, I started as a hip hop DJ because that's just the music that the DJ that I met in Radford. That was the college that I attended my first year. He was playing sorority and fraternity parties, and his name was Kenny Hanks, and it was hip hop. So I learned how to do that first, and I kind of house music was underground, so. You know, people probably don't even know what that term means anymore, but like, you know, that was the type of music that you would only hear in a club. And I was too young at that point to get into the club. So that came a little bit later for me.
Mm-hmm.
I started DJing before I was able to go to the club. So
That's awesome. And did you have like, what artists did you grow up being fans of? Like, obviously we know you have a long-standing connection to Madonna, but like, were there other artists that really spoke to you and that you really looked forward to mixing?
You mean mixing as far as a producer? Like,
Yeah, or just like you know, because like you and I have talked before. Like, I'm a massive Janet Jackson fan. Like, I loved making my little mixtapes in my little home
oh
studio.
yeah. Yeah. We all used to make those, you know, you had to play it, you know, full length.
Yeah.
You had to listen to the song the whole entirety, and then if you mess up, you had to start over, right?
Yeah.
No, I grew up with a very versatile taste in music. I loved Depeche Mode and Yaz, and obviously the stuff on the radio. I'm a huge Prince fan. You know, the production stuff came much later for me.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Fleetwood Mac, all classic rock. That's what my mom used to listen to. And God, I loved, I grew up listening to the radio, which I eventually started working in, having a career in for many years at WPGC in Washington. But that my love for music came from that, and my mom, of course. My mom had a very eclectic taste in music, so but she was Jackson Brown, Fleetwood Mac, like Led Zeppelin. She loved Linda Ronstadt, and
What did she think of when her daughter became like this like high profile DJ? Like how did that like she must have been ridiculously proud.
Oh, well, as any parent would be, I think we're all, you're proud of your children, whatever they choose to do. But I kind of manifested my career. So I used to walk around saying, I'm going to be on MTV. I'm going to be on the radio. And okay, Don, okay, honey, okay, honey. And when it started happening, she just was like, okay, everything that this child said is going to happen. So she kind of had you know, look into the future because I predicted a lot of it. I
That's
just manifested it. I believe in that.
That's awesome. And how
I
did you
didn't know I was manifesting at the time. You know what I mean? Like, I just had a real drive. Like, I just knew what I wanted to do at a very young age. So,
That's awesome. And how did you make the move from like, your Washington D.C. area to go down to Florida and to Miami?
I worked in radio for 8 years, 9 years, I think. I might give or take a few years. And I had just graduated from the University of Maryland, and I was ready to take on more responsibility because being in school full time and DJing, at night and working at the radio station full time, well, part time, I was ready for a career job, a full-time position and more responsibility. And that didn't happen at WPGC for me. So I went and pursued other opportunities. And I ended up taking a job with Interscope Records, and they moved me to Miami.
And have you been there ever since, Trace? Like you've been, yeah, okay.
Yes, I have.
And so, talk to us then about I understood. I think that you were also in radio in Miami for a while, right?
Yeah, I never really left radio. It's kind of in my blood. But I was also pursuing jobs in radio here in Miami at the time I took the Interscope job. That was the job that I landed on. But yeah, I wanted to work in the music business in Miami. I was set on Miami. I had come to the Winter Music Conference, which back in the 90s, I want to say 94, maybe 95, I don't. The years they start running closer together, I skip a few, but I don't remember the exact year, but my friend Ingrid was opening a club here. So all signs were pointing to Miami, but I had actually fallen in love with Miami before that even happened. Like I looked at those clouds and saw the cotton balls and the sun and the beach, and I fell in love with this place. It's paradise here. And I knew I wanted to live here, so I just kind of manifested it. And yeah, I did work in radio for a while here, never full time, just radio shows and mix shows and all up and down the dial here and every other city in the United States. So.
You mentioned Ingrid, and can you tell people who may not know just how important, like who Ingrid is and how important she was? Because I know that's how the Madonna connection started, right?
Yeah, I had met a lot of people in radio that were connected to Madonna too. It seemed like that was destiny also because, but yeah, Ingrid was, I guess people called her Madonna's best friend, and she was in the sex book, and they're still very close to this day. And I met Luli, who is Ingrid's sister, they're sisters, and she was going to school in DC, and oddly enough, we crossed paths, and she introduced me to Ingrid, and Ingrid's all of a sudden, we're at dinner, and she's talking about Madonna and Katie Lang, and I was like, it was just, I mean, it was just unbelievable that I was sitting there and somebody was talking about these people in the first person, like they hung out. And I mean, it was just mind blowing to me. These were the biggest singers, like Janet Jackson too. Like, it just seemed like unbelievable. Like, you would never get close to those people. Now with Instagram, and I don't know if celebrity feels that way anymore. What do you think, Kelly? Like,
I think it's funny because I've interviewed a lot of artists, and I'm fortunate that I've interviewed a lot of artists that I love, growing up. Like it was a big deal for me to interview Crystal Waters and CeCe Peniston, like all these house
oh
artists.
yeah,
And I remember CeCe telling me during one of our interviews that, back in the day in the early 90s, like when she was hitting with Finally and all that stuff, the record company wanted the artist to remain mysterious,
oh
like
they did.
yeah, like you didn't, put out
I
too much
don't think
information
that's a
and all that
bad
stuff.
thing.
Yeah, and now Cece tells me, when we had our last discussion a couple years ago, that she's like, now you have to be on social media and you have to do all this stuff because otherwise you're forgotten about right away. And so I do think things have changed immensely from what the mystique of the 90s, I think, as opposed to now it's almost like too much information a lot of times. But I
You
but I do appreciate that like you can DM somebody and like hopefully something might work out. Like even with you, like I mean, I was able to get your information and reach out directly to you, and then you responded, and that's how this has all worked out. So I'm
Oh,
very
honey,
grateful.
I'm not Madonna.
Yeah,
And
but you're still pretty famous in my eyes. So
oh,
so it was
no,
it's
I mean, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
yeah, so it's been great to connect with artists like you, and yeah, just to see how celebrity culture has changed. And when it comes though to like your initial meeting, like how did Madonna know about you and that you were spinning and that first project
Oh,
together?
that's where Ingrid was a key factor in this. So back in the day, you practice. I still practice. I still plan my sets the old school way. I like to hear how it sounds. I have my equipment in my studio, and I used to practice, and I would record and listen to it back because I mean there was no beat sync button. There was no, you couldn't walk away from the players and it would still mix, and you had to ride the records, people,
Yeah.
records. And so I would practice and make mixtapes. Um, I would send them to my friends. I would burn them, and what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Or duplicate them, burn, whatever. I'm showing my age.
It's all good. I'm there with you.
And they one landed. I guess Luli gave one to Ingrid. I don't know the exact story. It's been so long ago. And then next thing you know, Ingrid and Madonna are running in Madonna lived here in Miami, or had a house here, and they were running on the beach, and I got a phone call. Madonna and Ingrid are running on the beach to your mixtape. Then that's truthfully how it happened. So it was just one of those crazy, crazy things. And And then Madonna, I don't know what transpired after that, but next thing you know, I'm being asked to DJ her birthday party in LA in 97. So it was the year Versace was shot. And the reason why I know this is because the party was canceled because, he was murdered and, she didn't feel like having the party. So, yeah, but that's how the introduction happened.
That's crazy. And then what was the first, like, I know it was supposed to be that party, but then like, what's the first major thing you worked on for her or with her?
Oh my gosh. That's okay. Well, I DJ'd a party. I guess the first time I met her several different places, but I think the first time we actually met was I DJ'd a party for Ingrid at the Kit Kat Club in New York. Are you familiar with that?
I've heard of it, never been, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, and that was insane. But I was playing funk and old school. I was doing what I did on the radio, which I worked for Donnie Simpson, those of you who know,
Yep.
you know. And I did an old school mix on WPGC. It was the morning show, and I played a lot of old school funk classics, R&B, and so I did. It was. Did you ever go to Fat Black Pussycat in Liquid? No.
No.
Anyway, well, it was a party that played all these old soulful records, and it happened Mondays at Liquid. It was very popular, and it was similar music. So yeah, it was very popular in the late 90s, early 2000s, and I was playing hip hop open format all the way.
That's
And
awesome.
I DJ'd, I guess the original question was, when did I start working with her? It just kind of, I think, happened because I was really good friends with Luli, Ingrid's sister, um and then I became close with Ingrid. Actually, their whole family. They opened their doors to me, and when I moved here, I would go to their house for Christmas. When the hurricanes would come, I'd be over at their house, and they're like a second family for me. I really love the Casarises.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering because I've asked this question of to other people, like for example, in Janet's camp, like people who have worked with her, like Tina Landon, her former choreographer.
I heard she was dating Maxwell. Is that true?
I don't know. There's pictures all over the internet. So
I think that's sexy.
they look hot in those pictures together, that's for sure.
What? Yes, I see that all day long.
Yeah, exactly.
Although Janet should be with a woman, honey.
So I've asked, like for example,
Okay,
like
I'm sorry, I
Tina
interrupted.
Landon about like if all of a sudden your phone blew up with other requests for people to work with you because of your work with Madonna. Like I'm assuming you
Did that
became
happen?
like a hot commodity. It must have happened.
Oh, is that what you're asking me?
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh my God, yes. Donatella Versace. I mean, oh God, everything opened up. The seas parted. Yeah, no, I am very well aware of, especially during that time. I mean, she was a huge, and she still is. I'm not, but especially the way celebrity was driven in the 90s, it was mysterious. I DJ'd her wedding. I mean, and you didn't, I never really talked about it. It wasn't mine to talk about. Like, I wouldn't go to, I don't know, I've done a few weddings, not
Yeah.
many, but I don't talk about them either.
Yeah.
Like, it's not my wedding. You know what I mean? So but I think when you have, it's like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was mysterious. Janet's very mysterious. Like, we don't know much about her, and I think she still remains that way. But and people, I think, were very curious about Madonna at that time. And here's somebody that is in the room with her. You know what I mean? So I think, I mean, my whole career exploded. It just, and then she was also very gracious, and she would write me in her articles and talk about me on her radio shows, and when I would have an album come out, or, I mean, just, she's been really sweet, like really, really nice to me.
That's
So,
amazing. That's
yeah.
awesome. Joining us on the Kelly Alexander Show, DJ Tracy Young. Don't forget to grab all of her social media handles and more information on her website, tracyyoung.com. I have to so now I wanna pivot to, you're doing all this DJing for years and years. When did you decide to start producing actual tracks?
I mean, I think that kind of happens when you're a DJ, because when I would blend a record, my whole thing was not scratching or cutting or doing tricks or slamming a record in, or I always wanted to make one record sound different by blending another record into it. And I guess, looking back, I was producing live or remixing, or things have evolved. You can do a lot more things, different things with the equipment and the technology that's available now. But I like to ride the record, and like, I would hear a sound in a record on the right turntable, and I would bring it in on the left, and I think it's a natural progression for a DJ to want to produce after they start DJing. I think in music. I can't speak a whole full sentence, but I can sure put together a song. And I can tell you to listen to it, and it will do a better job at communicating than I ever will.
Did you were you a musician beforehand? Like, did you play piano? Like, how did you start?
I did. I have severe ADHD, and I never finished anything. So, but yeah, I played the trumpet. I played the piano a lot.
Okay.
Not a lot. I took lessons for many years. My mom was a great piano player. But when I wanted to give up, and I'm mad at my mom for not making me finish, because I was a serious piano player. And you have to practice, just like anything. Michael, Tom Brady practiced every day. You have to practice your craft. It will go away. So, yeah. If there's one thing I learned about, you have to do something every day, no matter what that is. And you have to do it your whole life. So, yeah, I put it down, unfortunately. I played the drums a little bit, but I think that gave most people a headache more than the rhythm section I was coming up with.
But the bass that you have in piano must help you when you are crafting new songs, right?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, you can look it up online now.
Yeah.
A chord progression. I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, ultimately I still produce the same way. I hear what feels good, whether it's correct or not. I mean, you can correct anything. I think sometimes those mistakes add authenticity to a track, or when I hear a DJ try something and might not land appropriately, I mean, so what? It's you know that they're really doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And
just
and when you are in your studio, like, do you what like computer program do you use? Like, did you have to
I
teach
use
yourself Ableton?
Ableton, but I also work with engineers, and
Okay.
I don't make a whole record by myself. So
Okay.
you can't do great work by yourself.
Okay.
You just can't. That's why
Unless
they
you're George
call it.
Michael, right? Like, but
Well,
even he
I
worked with
mean,
people.
and Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael used to pop it out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen him do that?
Yeah, I've seen videos. It's crazy.
Unreal. Like,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's
I'm like, what
bananas.
the?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
No,
wanted to ask you too, like, how do you, because you know, the list is long for, because I have a stat here that says you have over 60 #1 US Billboard Dance Club chart hits, which is like insanity. How do you decide like what songs you want to remix? Because like the list is long. Like obviously Madonna, Katie Lang, Britney Spears, Katy Perry, Lady Gaga. Like the list literally is like longer than both my arms. So how do you decide, or do artists come to you and say, Tracy, please remix this? How does that go?
it works one of several ways, I guess. It could come from the artist directly. It could come from the PR company. It could come from the management. It could come from the record label. I mean, if you think about an artist, they have many layers of people. I remixed Stevie Nicks because of her hairdresser. So, I mean, it's just being at the right place at the right time. Her hairdresser referred me to remix, and she didn't know what that was, and yeah, it's I don't, it just kind of, I never really decide what I want to remix. Usually the work comes to me, but there have been cases where, like with Madonna especially, like I've wanted to remix a song of hers. And she's always, been very kind in letting me do it, but sometimes they don't come out, and then you have something for your set, which is cool too. But yeah, a lot of the work. I mean, it's a business at the end of the day too. You wanna be acknowledged for your time in a financial aspect too. You know what I mean? If you're always doing all this free work, you're
Yeah.
never gonna, I don't know how you're gonna eat.
Yeah, exactly. Do you manage yourself, Tracy, or do you have a manager?
I don't have a manager. I oftentimes think that was a bad decision. But no, because I knew so many contacts. Like I met so many people being in radio, being a Billboard reporter, being a mix show person, being, knowing the people that I met and know. So back in the day, you couldn't just DM somebody. You had to go through the appropriate channels, and those contacts you protected. And not just being protective, I just could get things done so much quicker by picking up the phone, not having to explain to somebody how a process works. And, I could do it myself. And, yeah, sometimes now I'm at a point in my career where I feel like, God, it would be nice to have a different viewpoint on this project I want to do. You can only go so far, and I like working with teams of people. I mean, I'm coming out of my shell because I lost my mom, and I didn't really work for a few years. But yeah, it would be nice to have somebody kind of manage the crazy that goes on up there.
Yeah.
But I don't have one.
Okay. No, I've heard there's like different people that it's better for them not to, like they and
Oh,
it's
really?
yeah, like I think it really depends who you are as a person. I think sometimes it's helpful and other times, like you said, it gets in your way and you'd rather just have the direct line. So I did have to ask you too, because you brought up I want to talk to you about your Grammy Award winning song with Madonna, which was I Rise. So you went to Madonna for that one and said, hey, can I remix this?
I did. She had the Madam X album coming out, and I was in school with doing a engineering program at a school called SAE here, and I was learning all this information, and I was like, God, maybe I could apply this. I hadn't worked. I hadn't really been working. Anyway, Ingrid, I have an idea because I hadn't really connected with Madonna in quite a while. And she, next thing you know, I'm talking to Madonna, I'm remixing the song, I'm getting it on the radio. We were coming up with all these ideas. I was just, juices were flowing, and then I got nominated for a Grammy for it.
And you won.
And I won. That's the craziest part.
It was amazing. I just like I'd already watched your
That wasn't a single. That was not in the plan.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's a rare, I'm sorry I interrupted.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, that was, I heard it as an LGBTQ anthem. Like I heard it as, I thought that, at the time Memorial Day was coming up, I had a gig on Fire Island, and I was like, God, I would love to play something off her new album, and there wasn't anything available. So that's how that happened.
That's awesome. And what did she say? Because your speech, like I watched the speech, I rewatched the speech actually just today, in preparation for our chat today. And it was such a great speech, and it was so heartfelt, the fact that you first of all won this as like a woman producer, which hadn't been done before, winning a Grammy, which is absolutely stunning. And then what was it like to tell Madonna that you guys won? Like, what was she like excited for you? Like, how did that go?
I'm sure, I mean, I wasn't with her, but I was at the ceremony, but I did text her, and yeah, she was happy, definitely.
That's
I
amazing.
mean, that was, like I said, it's really awesome the way things happen when things happen like that. And they don't happen that way very often anymore, where you have this idea and you go for it and something happens. And let alone a Grammy,
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, it was just an idea. And that's kind of how I've lived my life. Like, and you have an idea, and then you go for it. You know what I mean?
And it worked. That's great.
Sometimes the idea, the spaghetti doesn't stick to the wall, but when it does, it could be magic. You know
That's
what I mean?
awesome.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about Cyndi Lauper, because when we had you on the show like several months back, you were just about to go out on that first leg, or your first leg for you, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Of the
Was
tour.
that
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was
So can you talk to us
very good.
about like how, first of all, how did you and Cyndi Lauper connect? What, I'm sure that's years ago, but then how this opportunity came about, because I know you said it really changed your life being out on tour with Cyndi.
Well, yeah, yeah. So I lost my mom, which I'm sure the whole world knows at this point. I talk about it enough. And I really went deep, somewhere deep that I've never been. Music for me has always been that place where I've retreated, and it's made me feel better, but that was not working. That just was not happening. I was out of shape. I was gaining weight. I just was not taking care of myself. I wasn't being healthy, and I started little by little, like I had some health issues that I was addressing, and I ended up hearing that Cyndi was going on tour. So I reached out and I said, I was thinking, let's do a couple parties or something. I don't know. I was trying. It wasn't happening, but I was trying. And then they suggested, why don't you come on tour with us? And I was like, Tour? How, like, I didn't even, it wasn't a thought in my mind. But what that tour did, and Cyndi giving me that opportunity did was, it got me on my A game. I needed to be healthy. I needed to be in shape. I needed to look good. I needed to feel good. I needed to make her look good. I needed to, for me, it was more important to make Cyndi look good than any of it. Like, if I'm going to take this job, I got to get this crowd going to get them hyped for her. You know what I mean? It was her farewell tour. It's like Madonna's wedding. One of the biggest things you'll ever do in your career, your life. One of the biggest things you'll ever do as a person getting married or whatever. So I took it really serious, and it lit a fire under my ass. It did. And I started making music again and getting excited. I did the Nikki and Donna project. We connected, and things started aligning in a way that, Rome wasn't built in a day. It doesn't happen overnight, but things start little by little. You start feeling better. It's the consistency. It's the showing up every day. It's the doing the work. It's throwing the ball in the basket, practicing that same shot, like practicing your craft and going back in the studio. And, that's what it did for me. It got me excited about music again. So when I say she changed my life because I just wasn't in that place. I was really, really in a bad place mentally. And I don't know if I really realized what a bad place I was in until I realized I'm not there anymore.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's amazing. And now you're heading out again.
I'm heading out again. I'm going, what's today? I'm going Wednesday, and we're doing the US. We're going to wrap it up in the US, but this is her farewell tour.
Yeah.
This is the only time you'll be able to see Cyndi Lauper live in this fashion. And let me tell you, I've been to a lot of concerts. I am not joking. Nobody sits down. Well, you saw the show.
I did.
They didn't sit down, did they?
No, they're on fire.
Did you sit down, Kelly?
No, they're on fire the whole time.
Yeah, the whole time they are on their feet. I'm like, these people are not playing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a real special show. I think it's a really well done, put together show. It's simple. It's,
Yeah.
she's got a band, a brilliant band. She sounds amazing. And yeah, I'm excited. And I'm going to be on the road with her for 2 months.
That's
a month and a half.
That's fantastic. And can you talk to us a little bit about what's coming up, like apart from the Cyndi Lauper tour? Like, I know when, again, when you were on my show a few months back, like you were with Nikki and Donna, do you have more stuff with them coming?
Oh yeah, we've been on fire. Like I said, I'm back in. I'm all in. I'm boots to the ground, baby. Yeah, we have 2 more singles coming out. One coming July 25th. I Know You, I Live You. It's a Shaka Khan cover. And it's arranged brilliant. I love working with them. They're the best. And I have remixes by Jose Spin and Cortez and Armand Pena, and I'm excited about those also. And then we have another single coming out in October for the fall prides that happen. That's called Water. And working on that package. And I have one coming out with Janice Robinson, which I'm excited about too. It's different, and it's gonna blow your mind, Kelly Alexander.
Can't wait. I cannot wait. Is there someone still on your bucket list that like you would love to remix for or produce with? Like who's on your list from like especially let's say from the 90s or early 2000s that you
I've
didn't have.
always wanted to work with Sarah McLachlan. That voice. Apparently, she's got an album coming out.
This is what's happening. Yep.
Is it? You heard that?
Yeah, we actually got like a press release recently. I did on some of the PR stuff that I get, and yeah, very excited about my fellow Canadian who is legendary.
Her voice is
Yep,
wow.
yep.
I mean, I'm showing my age, but Annie Lennox and those voices.
Hmm.
I would have loved to have worked with Sinead O'Connor, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah, life is short. We gotta live it.
That's for sure. And I did want to ask you too, before I let you go, like you are a label owner
Yeah.
also. So like what kind of demands on your time is that? Like, are you putting out just your stuff or do you sign artists? Like, how does that work for you?
Oh, I would sign other artists. The label for me became when the record execs wouldn't hire any women producers or DJs or remixers. I created the label because I'm like, if nobody's gonna have me, I'll do it myself, just like I do everything else. So,
Yep.
I started that label in like late 90s, 2000s.
Hmm.
My time could be off, Gotta take my ginkgo biloba today. But yeah, it became a way to actually produce music that I like and
Hmm.
that I really want to listen to because I do have a R&B side of me and a hip hop side and a lot of times when you're working with a major label, they tell you what you should sound like and I it's hard to do that.
Yep.
Like one label said, we like this, but we wanted it to be a little more Tracy Young. And I'll never forget that. I'm like, well, what the hell did I just give you? Like, I mean, what does that even mean? I
Oh,
don't know what that means to this day. So, like I said, I just create things. Like nobody would hire me in the clubs when I started.
mhm.
I would throw my own parties and hire myself. So that's what I did.
That's awesome. Do you have any advice for up and coming young women who want to do what Tracy Young does?
I don't know if you want to do what Tracy Young does. that's
I think
that's
so. Being on tour with Cyndi Lauper, that's pretty cool.
yeah, no, but that comes after a lot of hard work and preparation and working at your craft. I always say learn how to handle rejection because you get a lot of no's in this business and if you give up because if you can't handle rejection
Hmm.
and not take that personally, you're not going to go very far in any business
Hmm.
because it's not personal. It could be a lot of different things and sometimes it's just timing. But I think I'm going to I'm going to give you two parts. I think practice and doing your craft every day is the advice I would give. If you love something, do it.
Hmm.
And don't let the learning stop because you never everything evolves and you have to continue to learn. I mean, we're on this huge technology bubble right now, and
Hmm.
AI is just exploding right in front of us. And who knows what that's gonna open up. It's probably some bad, but I also see a lot of opportunity there too.
Amazing. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, Kelly, you're my girl. Anything for you.
I appreciate that.
And you got me on a Saturday after I worked last night. I could barely form a sentence, but I hope I completed a couple and you all understood what I was trying to say.
You did great, and I will tell the audience to make sure to first of all check you out on tour with Cyndi Lauper. So check
Yes.
Cindy's dates. She's going to be all over the states in the next like month and a half. One Canadian date that I see, Toronto. So for my Canadian audience, go there. And then also make sure you check out Tracy's website, tracyyoung.com. Grab all of her social media handles. Make sure to support her, and don't forget she's got new music on the way with Nikki and Donna and Janice Robinson, and the list goes on and on. Tracy, you rock. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Kelly Alexander, and thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Kelly Alexander Show, so you are the first in line for all the cool content coming your way.